Drew literally said, "You're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. And if anybody else has some shit to say about me, you're gonna get it too." Baby, Drew was ready for everybody. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, guys, hi, it's your girl Kay, and today we're going to be getting into the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 13. Before we recap this episode, please go ahead and like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one. Y'all, let's get into it. We kick off this episode with Shamia being in her, I guess, her garage or her storage room or something like that. But she's with her daughter Shiloh, and they're going through some of Shiloh's stuff that they're going to donate to Grenada on the trip that's coming, to give some stuff away to some of the people of Grenada who were affected by a storm. So Shamia's house is the drop-off spot. We see Cynthia donated. We saw Drew send someone over to give her donation. Kelli is also there and she's helping Shamia to pack up all of the stuff. Porsha and Angela also gave donations. And while they're talking, here comes Brit with her box of donation. I think Brit was the only person who gave the least amount of things. Time and time again, we see Brit flexing and saying how well off she is, and then when it's time to actually prove that, you know, it's more than just mouth talk, she has failed. At her last event, there wasn't enough food for people, and now she came with a little box. It's like, girl, is that all your stuff? Brit is like, oh, I'm going to have some stuff dropped off a little later. Shamia's like, so they're picking up in an hour, so you're going to want to tell them hurry up and bring it over. So Brit says in her confessional that it was last minute, so she tried to put some stuff together. And so Shamia's like, I see what she did. She brought a box and it was bare naked. So Brit's like, did y'all enjoy my event? And they're like, yeah, we did. And she's saying, oh, she didn't like the way the event turned out. It doesn't represent who she really is and how she runs her events, and how she had such a bad experience with her event planner. Y'all, turns out that the decorator that she was speaking so badly about came out with receipts. And someone is also allegedly filing a lawsuit against Brit because she did not pay the event police. So a lot of tea is coming out about Brit. She also asked Shamia how does she feel seeing that she and Drew got into it at the event. And Shamia's like, I'm just not feeling the name calling. And so Kelli says, well, she's hoping that there is some kind of resolve and that the trip will be a positive one. We know how those trips go down, so we're just going to wait and see what happens. She also asked Shamia about her relationship with Porsha, and Shamia just pretty much said, we're good, we had a minute to talk, and, you know, sometimes in friendships, you grow, you change, and, you know, it's life, it happens, and so they're good, and that's all that really matters. Up next is the sit down that should have happened from the beginning. It's finally happening because I guess they do not want to go on the trip with no negative energy. So Porsha is meeting up with Drew to finally sit down and hash out whatever issues they're having with each other. So they're in a coffee shop and they sit down, they both order teas, and apparently Drew is wearing Porsha's she's wearing Porsha's brand Go Naked hair, and Porsha's like, that isn't Go Naked hair. But anyways, they decide to just nip things in the bud. Let's talk about it. So Porsha says, girl, look, okay, there was a time we should have sat down and talked to each other and stuff like that, but you ended up filming with Dennis. That happened. But he said y'all wanted to promote the music and he wanted to clear his name because there were rumors around that y'all were romantically together. Drew pretty much just says, this isn't true, this isn't what was really happening, but at the end of the day, we were here to talk about Dennis, but you now went behind my back and filmed with Ralph. Drew said in her confessional that she kind of feels like it's petty, it's tit for tat. And Porsha says also in her confessional that she came to meet Shami and Ralph was there. Do I think that Porsha knew that Ralph was going to be there? Absolutely. I think she did know. But I think at this point, because she had already let them both know, as in Drew and Dennis, that she wasn't comfortable with them filming together. And yes, she did place that responsibility on her child's father, but Drew also knew that she wasn't comfortable with it. At this point, it is what it is. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, and you feel how it makes me feel. So Portia said that, oh, Dennis, well, he just wanted to clear his name. And he said that you're dating this guy Black. Now, I definitely feel like Dennis feeds Portia certain information and then he throws his hand like he's not involved. I'm not going to be a part of it. You all discuss it. You all figure it out. I feel like Dennis did that a lot when it came to Drew and Portia. So Drew said, no, he's just my friend. She said that she's going through a divorce and she's not even trying to date right now. But the moment Portia said that, Drew was ready to fight. She was like, but there are rumors about you dating Future. Portia's like, girl, I don't even know Future. Who's Future? So Drew says, listen, girl, you're going through a divorce and the smoke that you have isn't really for me. Now, I think Drew isn't really understanding where Porsha is coming from. She did feel some type of way because Porsha and Shamia filmed with Ralph, yet you're not understanding that she just didn't want any more mess to deal with on top of what she's already going through in her divorce. The same way you said your divorce has been messy, Portia's divorce has been very public and very messy, and so she just didn't want anything else happening that's going to add up to what she's already dealing with. As to why people are not understanding this, I don't know, because y'all don't like Portia, y'all have this narrative about her, and she may have done some grimy stuff, she may have done stuff, whatever the case may be. But guys, it's that simple. At this point, the conversation just hit the fan. Drew was over talking, and Portia's like, I'm not here to argue with you. Like, let me talk. Let's have a civil conversation. And Drew was just not trying to hear it. And Portia's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out. I don't have to deal with none of this. She got up. She walked away and just like, yeah, walk away like you always do. I see why Simon left you. Girl, she filed for divorce. So Simon didn't leave her. She left Simon. So let's not do that, Drew. And here we go again with Drew taking jabs, Drew making shady remarks and shady comments, and then downplaying it when she's confronted. Girl, don't do that. So the ladies are getting ready for the trip. Angela is with her daughter. She's trying to get a sale for her house before she goes to the trip. How feasible is that? I don't know. Then we're at Shamia and she's with her mom. Her mom is like, oh girl, don't forget to bring your Bible with you. Then we're at Kelli's home and she's with all of her beautiful girls and she's telling them that she's going on a girls trip, and they're like, where are you going? She tells them that she's going to Grenada, and then she also breaks the news to them that she's not going to be there for their first day of school. And these children like, oh my God, don't tell me you're not going to be there. They looked so sad. At least the younger ones were sad, but the others were just worried about their budget and what they're going to wear for their first day of school. Kelli heads downstairs. Her friend is there, and Lamont is also there, and she's telling him, listen, I told the girls that you're going to drop them off at school. And he's like, girl, no problem, I've got you. And she's pretty much giving him the routine of how it's going to be done. Lamont then breaks the news to Kelli that he FaceTimed her ex-husband, and he said that as much as things have been contentious between them, he just felt like he needed to speak to him because they had a really good friendship. So I'm just waiting here trying to hear what the conversation was about, and he said that the man was saying no for a lot of things. He told the ex-husband, you and Kelli need to be on good terms, and he's like, no. He's like, I told him, you need to come around and see your kids because they're growing up. And that man said, no. Her friend says, well, that's typical of him. But that doesn't take away from the hurt and the pain that she's feeling, because no matter what's going on between the adults, the children should not be affected by that. My relationship with you should, your relationship with your children should not affect what we have going on. So it's just sad that he's been immature and childish and not stepping up to be the father that he has been for the past couple of years with those children. And now they're having to go through life and not being able to have any kind of relationship with him. And Kelly's now having to carry the load of raising all of these children by herself. And that's just really, really, really sad. So the ladies are at the airport because it's the day that they travel for the trip to Grenada. And y'all already, Phaedra is in her confessional and she's already shading Angela, talking about, oh, Angela is definitely the oldest young woman I've ever met. Hopefully her personality is more youthful than her face. Phaedra, what's going on between these two? So the ladies get to the beautiful island of Grenada. Yay! Big up any Caribbean island. Big up Grenada. Okay, so they get to Grenada and apparently Shamia's bags were left in Atlanta. So she has no new clothes. Well, she still has her carry-on, but she's worried that her stuff will not get there on time because apparently they told her that she has to wait the next day. They're greeted by some beautiful ladies in some carnival costumes, along with a rep from the tourism board. On one bus, there's Brit, Porsha, Shamia, and Kelli, the turn-up crew. And on the other bus, there's Phaedra, Drew, Angela, and Cynthia. And they're so boring. There's nothing happening on the bus. Like, what is going on, ladies? So Phaedra's like, so who has beef? And Angela's like, here's the beef. She has beef with everybody. So guess what? We know that they're going to be addressing all of this sometime during this trip. So Drew's saying that her issue with Shamia is that she went on an interview and she's talking about her music, saying that Drew's lying because Drew said that she can speak 5 languages. And she said that she was speaking about love languages. Drew, what? Drew, oh my god. So they get to the hotel and the ladies are welcomed with just a bit of the island's culture. There are moko jumbies, I think that's what they call it. At least that's what they call it in St. Lucia. And some of the guys in the jab jab outfits. The ladies are now heading to find out what rooms they're assigned to, and some people are already not happy about it. But before they do so, they have to play a little game to find out who's rooming with who. And let me tell you, the suites looked beautiful. Oh my god. So here's the room situation. Shamia and Kelli are rooming together. Brit and Phaedra will be sharing a room together. Then there's Porsha and Angela. So that leaves Cynthia and Drew sharing a room. So the ladies grab shots and on each shot glass is the number for the room. Funny. And when I said rooms earlier, I actually meant that they were sharing a suite together. So apparently Cynthia and Drew, in their suite, there is 1 king size bed and there's 2 queen size beds. So they arm wrestle and Drew wins the king size bed. But anyways, the ladies head to their rooms to get ready in 30 minutes because they're about to meet together to have dinner. Meanwhile, at Shamia and Kelly's suite, they're preparing little bags to give to the ladies. And so Kelly's asking her how she's feeling so far. And Shamia says the only thing that makes her uncomfortable is Drew, because apparently she made a post on Instagram and she tagged Shamia in it saying that they're having fake beef and whatnot. And she's like, oh, but you're acting like we're all good, and then you're going to social media and trying to make it seem like, we're beefing or whatever the case may be. And so Kelly's like, maybe you'll need to just hash it out, just release it, let it go, because we want to have a good old time on this trip. We're now at Drew and Cynthia's suite, and when they get to see the room with the two queen size beds, um Drew decides to exchange with Cynthia. Why am I saying Shamia? Then they head over to the balcony in Cynthia's room, and they're talking about dating. Apparently Cynthia is dating a younger guy, and she's trying to keep his identity private for now. And so she's like, oh, by the way, Drew, you are dating, right? And so Drew's like, well, I wouldn't say I'm dating, but I am talking to people. I am meeting people. So are you talking to Black? Please let us know. So she's saying for now she just has friendship, nothing beyond that, because her divorce is so messy. And so she's now filling in Cynthia. Oh gosh, she's now filling in Cynthia on her sit down with Porsha. So she's telling Cynthia, I ended up finding out that Porsha filmed with Ralph, and I wanted to know what her intentions were. Was she trying to be petty? And Cynthia's like, girl, Porsha will get her league back. That's something about Porsha, right? Cynthia is in her confessional, and she says that Porsha didn't like Drew filming with Dennis, and she did it anyway. And so Porsha now filmed with Ralph. How about we just call it even? And I agree. It's a wrap. So the ladies head out to dinner, and everyone is in a good mood. Brit is talking about a man that was apparently in his window naked. What is going on? And Angela also shared with the group that it's her 8th year wedding anniversary. Girl, it's your anniversary and you're on a trip with these girls? Hell no. I would have been with my husband celebrating, or he would have been on the trip with me, so we could get to do our own thing after hanging out with the ladies, because there's no way in hell I'm going to be celebrating my 8th anniversary with, a group of women, unless it's a collective couples thing. Then it's a no for me. As usual, when these ladies come together and they're on a trip, they're going to start talking about all kinds of things, talking about getting happy endings. Oh my goodness. So anyways, the ladies make a toast to Angela on her wedding anniversary. And so here comes Kelli with a little speech asking the ladies if they're enjoying themselves so far. And everybody's saying yes, they're enjoying themselves so far. And she's saying that she really wanted to reset the mood in the group. And so this is why they planned the trip. So she's like, let's start resetting the mood with Shamia and Drew. And so Drew is like, okay, let's just get it out on the table. Whoever has an issue with me, let's talk about it. Let's clear the air. And Shamia's like, girl, I tried to clear the air with you at Brit's event, but you called me a lapdog. And then you take it a step further and make a post on Instagram saying that we have imaginary beef. So Shamia's like, best believe, if you're calling me a lapdog, we have beef. So Drew says that's because you took information and brought it back to somebody and you didn't really tell them how it actually went down. And so Shamia's like, well, if I was a lapdog, I wouldn't have invited you to my studio session in the first place. So Drew's like, but that's where you went and took information back to Porsha. And so Shamia's like, girl, you definitely did say that you're going to pay for PJ's college. And yeah, we get the flashback. I don't know why Drew is denying it, but she definitely did say it in a way to be shady towards Porsha and to be petty. So Drew, please stop saying that you didn't say it that way, because you know you did. So Shamia's like, girl, if you have an issue with me, I'm not with taking it to social media. How about you speak to me? And now when it's Drew's time to speak, she's like, a hit dog gonna holler. Drew, here you are doing the absolute most. Drew, oh my God, are you really trying to resolve anything, or are you trying to continue the beef? What? Just like the energy is so crazy. Like, girl, you do things and then you act all innocent. Now, don't get me wrong. Drew was ready for everybody. Like I said, she was ready for everybody. She wasn't playing. She's tired. She's fed up. But at the same time, Drew, you cannot say things, and when somebody hits you back with something too, now you're offended, and then say, oh, that wasn't my intention to hurt you. No, you said what you wanted to say and stick to it. You call that lady a dog for what? Like, there's no actual real issue going on between y'all. That was simple. The same way when you sat down with Porsha, it didn't have to go as far as it did. Oh my God. So she's like, oh, I said that the music is going to be a blessing and that's going to help pay for his daughter's school. Girl, that's not what you said. Please stop. And then Portia's like, okay, here's what the issue is. You called her a lapdog and you do need to apologize for that. And so Angela is stepping in and she's like, you know what? When we have intimate conversations and you take it and run it back, that's an issue. So Phaedra steps in and she's like, girl, do y'all really think that y'all are having intimate conversations with Shamia about her best friend? And so Angela says, listen, we're not prying in your relationship, but these are grievances that she has and has expressed about yours friendship. So Shamia says, what grievances did I share with you? How about you tell me? And so she's like, y'all are making it seem like I'm coming to y'all telling y'all things about Porsha when it's really y'all asking me questions and I'm responding. Now, I've already said, girl, don't give any information to them. That's not your business. Porsha and I are good. That's all they need to know. So Porsha says, it's a little strange to me that everyone is asking her questions about our friendship, but they're not asking me questions. And so Kelly's like, well, Porsha, do you think that you've been a good friend to Shamia? And Porsha's like, girl, Shamia and I have talked and we're good, and that's all you'll need to know. Period. That's what it should have been from the beginning. Don't come and ask me. It's not your business, Kelly. Stay out of it. You have a friendship with Shamia. Keep it at that. Don't be discussing me with my other friend that I'm not friends with. Don't do that. Keep that over there. You focus on your friendship with her. Porsha is going to focus on her friendship with Shamia. Period. Kelly then says, okay, Porsha, you all said you'll have talked about it and you'll have moved past it, so I feel like the group should move past it as well. But Drew, you have an issue with everyone at the table except except Cynthia. Drew's like, what? So Drew says, listen, I don't have an issue with Porsha, but I feel like she has an issue with me. Porsha says, girl, it takes too much energy for me to have an issue with you. I don't have an issue with you. So Porsha says, look, I didn't really handle that sit down we had at Shamia's event. That didn't go well. I didn't say things the best way that I should. And she's about to give Drew an apology and Drew interrupts her. She's like, okay, let me just say, I accept that. And so they just decide to move on. Porsha says, listen, girl, I don't have any huge expectations of being friends with you. And I was trying to talk to you the other day, but then you bring up rumors about me dating Future. And so my thing is, if you're dating somebody already, why did you let the rumor with Dennis go so long when you're already dating somebody else? So Drew says, how about you don't throw what the streets are saying? But girl, you're doing the same. So make it make sense. So Drew says, okay, so you were emotional at Shamia's party and you don't expect me to be emotional when we meet to sit down and talk when I find out that you're filming with Ralph. How would you feel if people take from that scenario that you're sleeping with Ralph? And so Portia's saying, girl, I literally came to a dinner to meet with Shamia and Ralph was already there. Okay, and so if Drew is upset that Porsha film too with Ralph? Why is she not upset with Shamia too? Because they were both at the dinner, right? So Porsha tells her, girl, it's about the way you move. So Kelli pulls up a crystal and she's like, okay, everybody needs to chill. And the only person that gets to talk is the person who has the crystal. So she says, okay, let's all agree that it doesn't feel good to work with and film with an ex or a baby daddy. And so Porsha says it doesn't feel good to do it on this show behind my back. And so everyone agrees. She hands the crystal over to Drew. And Drew says that she wants to assure Porsha that nothing happened between she and Dennis that was inappropriate. However, she can and will acknowledge that she could have texted Porsha and let her know that she was working with Dennis and wanting to film with him. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew finally told the truth. Remember how she was saying in all of those episodes before that she told Porsha, she told Porsha, she told Porsha? She was lying. She never did tell Porsha, and now she's acknowledging that she should have just texted her. But anyway, she said that Dennis told her that he got her blessing. And like I said earlier, I just feel like Dennis is the one who's causing all of the issues. He's saying one thing to Drew, he's saying one thing to Porsha, and he's obviously on Porsha's side because that's the mother of his child. So he's obviously going to have her back more. And so Porsha accepts her apology or whatever it is, that she's saying. And so finally, the beef is done, right? Here comes Brit. I want to talk. I want to talk. I want to say something. And she lets the group know that Apollo and his wife were invited to her event. And so she just wanted to clear that up with Phaedra, that Apollo and his wife are friends with her husband and she had nothing to do with it. And how is that relevant to what's going on? I don't know. Girl, nobody even knew Apollo was at that event. So why did you feel the need to let us know? He's not even married to Phaedra. So what? Okay. So the ladies end on a good note and they're moving on from all of the petty drama that's happening between them. And this is where the episode ended. It's only day one of the girls' trip and there's so much more happening in the coming episode. But that's all I have for you guys on this recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. Episode 13, and as usual, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.